Hi, my name is Rebecca Norton, and today I'm going to be talking to you about an article that I read titled Number Sense Strategies for Helping Preschool through Third Grade Develop Math Skills. I chose this article because I am an early childhood major, and this was directly correlated to what I wanted to learn about, so that's why I chose it. Some important things that I thought my article covered was that 5 to 8% of students in grades K through 12 have some type of math disability. If students don't learn number sense early on, they are likely to fall under that 5 to 8%. So number sense is extremely important in the early grades. If children understand why they are learning math, they will be more likely to be successful. So we don't only want to teach them the procedures and the equations to solve the math problem, but we also want to give them real world applications, and we want to tell them why they are doing that or why it's important to learn about this. The article talked about 3 key strategies when teaching number sense to the grades K through 3rd. The first one was vary the concrete experiences. And they said in the article there is no single concrete object that is more effective in helping children. So basically what I took that to mean was that students need multiple different manipulatives such as cubes, bears, base 10 blocks, beans, etc. You can even use rocks or natural materials. It doesn't matter as long as the kids are learning how to count with them, one-to-one correspondence, things like that. Another way to to vary the concrete experiences is have students, whenever they're just walking places from like your classroom to the lunchroom, have them count like how many artwork displays are on the wall, or even have them count like tiles underneath their feet as they're walking, that just so that they get that experience. Another way is whenever you tell students the number 3, also hold up 3 fingers. So say I am adding 3 plus 2. So they can actually count your fingers. And they can count their own fingers too whenever they're doing math problems. The second way was to teach skills to proficiency. While explicit instruction is necessary, children learn best through exploration. Some ways that they said that you can do this was model skills for students. So while you're doing that, though, you want to explain the steps and why you're doing them. That way they can understand what your thought process is in going into the problem. Don't just assume that your students know what you're talking about. Assess students often by observing to address the individual needs. So each student isn't going to be on the same basis, even though they are required to meet the same standards. So it's very important to individualize the math equations and the math problems. The last step, or the last strategy, was to make language connections. Students who struggle in math often struggle in reading, so you need to teach the math vocabulary and what things mean. So and is also the same as addition. So they don't automatically know that. So you'll need to teach that as well. Some ways that you can do this is have students verbalize their work. So for example, as I was saying, have them say out loud, I have 3 fingers and 2 fingers. So tell them addition means and, so that you add them together. What I got from this article was basically a bunch of ways that I can teach math to my students. I plan to use excuse me, all of the strategies that the article has talked about. And something that's so easy, like different manipulatives. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But whenever I'm going to use different manipulatives, I can have like a center of math that uses bears and blocks and sticks, for example. Not usually, but. And so the students are getting different ways to count to the number 10. So that's really important, and that's the way I'm going to implement this article. Another way would be modeling for my students. I believe that modeling and scaffolding is super important in the classroom. So what I plan to do is show students how I'm adding 3 plus 2, or showing students with the bears and manipulatives, that if I have 3 bears and 2 bears, I'm going to use one-to-one correspondence and count pointing to each of the bears. And then the last thing is I plan on having teach the math literacy, that during the circle time I can go with the students and explain to them what the word means. So addition means and if I'm adding the two together, that equals, and just vocabulary words in general that require math, that are involved with math. I plan to put on a word wall so that students understand. And on the word wall, I will also correlate that with pictures so that the students who have struggle with reading will also be able to understand what the word wall means and the words on the wall mean. I hope you got a good overview of what my article said, and I hope to see you next time.